Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. At the start of this year, I did a video on my quality of life ideas that I'd like to see wargaming introduce into the game in 2025. Those were obviously my ideas, but you guys left plenty of comments as well. And I've been through those comments and I thought I'm going to do a video where I showcase these comments or some of these comments so that wargaming know what you want to see. So let's have a look at a couple of these comments, starting with the top. So, Little Bernie, Fat Little Bernie, nice name there, man. Hi Ricky, I absolutely love your content, I appreciate that. You're always fair, interesting and provide valuable information. Again, that's, I appreciate that. I agree with many of your suggestions for quality of life improvements. Here's what I want. Bring back commander military ranks. You used to be able to have your commanders be promoted to the national military rank, i.e. you had a German commander that was general. Okay, so this is ranks for commanders. Yeah, I can see that being an interesting concept for commanders, because at the moment you reach the 9 skills and that's it. There's no more progression. We don't get any more slots for crew skills. You max your crew out and then you just keep accruing crew XP after that. And I think I've got some crews that have got, I want to say 5 million crew XP on them. And that's crew XP that's just sitting there. It's not doing anything. And I can't use it for anything. So this is actually interesting. And I imagine, as you level up your crew, the higher rank it gets, unlock certain features for that crew. More crew skills. I know there's a lot of, I've said this to wargaming before, I know other people want this as well. More crew skills, allow us to unlock more crew skills, and that could be a way of doing it. The higher rank you get, the more crew skills you unlock. I like that idea. Number 2, I was disappointed when World of Tanks limited the commander skill to 9. Okay, I've just talked about that. Yes, it would be yeah, I don't know why they couldn't add more perks with less effects. Watered down part of the, yeah, it has watered down part of the game, yes. I would like to see that, but the defense that wargaming has is that someone who is new to the game will have a 1 skill crew or a 3 skill crew if they buy a 3-star crew brand new from the store. And if you've been playing the game for 10 years and you've got a 20 skill crew, the difference between those that have and those that have not is enormous. So they want to try and keep the game fair. But at the same time, that's just punishing those that stick around for a long time. You know, I've stuck around for a long time. I think my dedication and what's the word? My dedication to the game, my ability to stick around with the game for that long, I think that should be rewarded. And one thing I will note from other tank games, i.e. War Thunder, some people in there have fully unlocked crews and their reload is faster, their gun aiming is faster, their repair time is faster. You know, they've got all that and I don't as a new player, and honestly the response is, well, just deal with it. Quit complaining, deal with it. So yeah, there is that side of the game. I think wargaming need to cut back on trying to be nice to everybody and make things soft and cushy and fair for everyone. Just, you know, if you're not better than the other player, then, well, keep going, keep playing, earn it, basically. We want to reward those that have stuck around long enough to earn it. More historically accurate 3D commanders instead of these ones not related to the tank game. Yes, I mentioned that with the 2D crews. It would be nice if there were more military based crews rather than the, well, anything that isn't military based at the moment. So you've mentioned here Rommel and Monty. Yeah, that would be a good one. I don't know if there's any licensing issues with those, but yeah, that would be nice. More historically accurate emblems. I hate the cartoonish emblems. Why not the Africa Corps emblem? Yep. The game seems to be going in 2 directions at the moment. You've got the group of players that want historically accurate representation of tanks, and then you've got the side that don't seem to care at all, and we have snowmen crews, snowball, you know, whatever it might be, Yeti crews, bright camos on tanks. We've got the Warhammer 40,000 tanks that are not historically accurate in any way whatsoever. So there's two sides of the community that want two different things at the same time. Some people are okay with it, some people aren't. So I think they could still be more historically accurate, rather than going down the cartoonish side, as you mentioned there. Allow tank skin customization, like add some crates, spare tracks, jerry cans to our tanks. Yes, you want the fully, you want control of the tank customization, adding bushes here and there. That's a nice feature. That would be very nice. I have mentioned that to them. I don't know what will come of it. Change World War II to +1 -1. Yep. I don't believe that's going to happen. They have their reason. What was their reason? Oh, it's been a long time. Their reason was the matchmaker. That causes matchmaker issues. I don't know. We'll see. Stop creating overpowered premiums like the Weasel Mark 1. They have negatively affected Era 2. Yes, they have. They need to stop this. They need to reevaluate how they balance premiums. The new light tank in World War II is demolishing tier 8 to tier 10. The Weasel was nerfed slightly. Still a menace. I've got a video coming out on that soon. But now we've got the ELC. Wargaming need to reevaluate how they balance their premiums, and I believe they put this point in an article on their website. They are actually going to reevaluate how they do this. So we'll just have to watch this space. Make all tanks balanced. Some you cannot even play and have a fair game. Yeah. Yes. With the introduction of things like the Big Light Panzer, Weasel, ELC, it does make other tech tree tanks just not worth playing almost. Or very, very difficult to play, very difficult to grind, very difficult to get through. Leopard 1 stock is tough. The Rakuten, again, that's a very difficult tank to play, especially if you're not up to speed with ATGM. So yeah, I understand what Bernie's getting at here. Those are some very good points. Alright, let's move on. Paul, still a newbie, but I would like to see better training modes, especially for ATGMs. Okay, I will caveat this point by saying that I've not actually played any of the training missions, so I'm not sure what's available, but based on what I'm seeing here, especially for the ATGM that let you run your own vehicles rather than BMP2, for example. So that tells me that the training, I'm assuming the training mission limits you to the BMP2, and you want to be able to play other tanks, for example. One feature that I think would be great is if we could test vehicles. So for example, if you are new to the game and you want to pick a tank that's, you know, an Era 3, have the option to test drive that tank, so you just know what you're getting yourself into before you start the grind. And when you're test driving it, then you can use the weapon systems and you can play with them and see what they're like. So add the option to test vehicles before we get them. That would be very, very nice. And I think that would allow Paul here to practice the way he wants to, basically. I think that's a very good suggestion. Flipdog, I'd like to see find a platoon option where you can search open platoons for teams and that want to play together, and your idea for looking for damage kill spotting would work well with a platoon search option. Just a thought. So with the roadmap released recently, they're adding regiments so you can see the clan that you're in. It's not a platoon option, but you can see who in your clan is online. So that's halfway to finding a platoon, I suppose, because you can see who's online. You could contact them and say, would you like to platoon? Not quite the same, but this find a platoon option would be helpful. That would be good, and it would also be a way for people to connect. Yeah, I like that. I like that idea. Find a platoon option. You can set your platoon to open, which is what it is, and anyone who's in an open platoon will expect other people to just jump in and join. I think that's a good idea. I'd like to see that, definitely. Crazy Devil, I know this isn't really a quality of life change, but this would make the game much better. slow way down on premium tank releases and focus more on tech tree lines? And for the premium releases, could we stop with the high alpha, high pen, ridiculous armor and stats on premiums, as this is what is starting to put me off the game? Yes. Again, going back to the roadmap, they are releasing more tech tree lines. I believe they've said they're releasing a tech tree line for every new season. So there's going to be a lot more free-to-play stuff, which is fine. That's absolutely no problem. But the free-to-play stuff does need to be competitive. So slowing way down on the releasing of these premiums. ELC, the 249, I think it's the 249, is it? In World War II. There's been a whole bunch of overpowered premiums released recently. They need to stop that, slow way down. And again, they have said they're going to reevaluate, like I've already mentioned, they're going to reevaluate how they release premiums, so that's good, and they're releasing more free-to-play content. So, I think, Crazy Devil, your wish may be granted. We'll have to see. IDW Prime could be useful if we could see other players' stats in game, just like Blitz and PC. Yeah, that would be useful, because at the moment, if you want to see a player's stats, you have to find their gamer tag and then search on watch stars, which is, that can be done. But if you want a quicker way of doing it, then yes, it would be useful to see player stats, because you want to know whether or not they're a relatively new player or whatever it might be. You want to know the skill level of the people left, or for whatever reason you want to see stats. That would just be useful information to have in game. Yes, I think that would be a nice addition. MMQZ1GP, memorable name, sir. Hi, I would appreciate in-game information about player quality, e.g. WN8, yes, and total team HP bar, yes. Hit point bar like on PC, that would be great, because at the moment all we can see is this is a 2 versus 2 fight at the end of the game. What we don't see is that one team has 4,000 hit points, the other one has 400 hit points. We just see it as a 2 versus 2 and we think, oh, that's equal, when it's not quite equal at all. So yes, that is something that I would like to see, and it's also something that a lot of people have asked for. So again, we'll just have to watch this space. Alright, Dwayne, Happy New Year, Ricky and everyone. The light tanks can be so annoying and so hard to hit, and when I do hit them, like in the tracks, I expect the track to take the track off and do damage, and hitting them in the rear should not bounce. Yes, this is what I mentioned with the gunplay. The gunplay needs to tighten up. The armor models need to be reevaluated in some way, because the stats that we're presented in the garage is not reflected in the in-game experience. Shots are absorbed by things that they shouldn't be. Shots bounce off of things that they shouldn't bounce off of. The whole thing just needs to be tightened up, and in my opinion, I would like to see the core gameplay addressed and given some TLC, really. I mean, the core gameplay needs some love. Adding new mechanics is great, adding new tech trees is great, new premiums, new skins, new garage items, all of that is great. But if the foundation and the core of the game is itself, I want to say, starting to rot, break down, it's not as high quality as it used to be for whatever reason, then yeah, I would like to see more of that, because that is ultimately what the game rests on. The core gameplay does need to be solid, and if it's not, all this other fluffy stuff on the outside, it's not going to mean anything. Alright, Moonwolf. I wish Wargaming would start focusing a lot more on the main game. Tech tree tanks, they are. We've covered that. Maps, they are, slowly. And start leaving aside 3D commanders and garage cosmetics and secondary mechanics that are no use. Yeah, I feel you on this. I do feel you on that. Like the flamethrower tanks or the double barrel tanks, there are no more than 10 tanks with that mechanic. I feel like they are wasting manpower to do what? A car for the garage. Yeah, I get your point there. So a point here is that Wargaming is split out into different departments. So it's not a case of they're spending time developing cars for your garage when they could be developing fixes for, shots bouncing when they shouldn't. It's a case of they have a cosmetics department. It's probably not called that, but that's what they work on. That's all that they do. They've got a they've got the dev team, they've got the team that looks after the production of the trailers that we see. We've got a team that is responsible for, they've got teams responsible for various different things that don't cross over. So the team that's going to be making the cosmetics is always going to be making the cosmetics, and they're always going to be releasing cosmetics. So it's not a case of wasting manpower per se. I know it can be seen like that, but the mechanics side of it, you want to see more of the, like I've mentioned before, the more of the core gameplay addressed, rather than just releasing more premiums, rather than releasing more, you know, cosmetics for the garage or 3D commanders or skins or whatever, or secondary mechanics that are of no use. I know we've got rocket booster tanks coming out soon, and I thought the same as you. I thought, man, I don't really care about rocket boosts. I want my shots to go where I aim them. I want my shots to do damage when they hit. You know, I don't want my shots to bounce. Like the real core issues here, I would care about 3D commanders and garage cosmetics and secondary mechanics and rocket boosts. I would care about that stuff if the foundational core stuff of the game was taken care of first. Adding fluff is fine as long as the foundation on which the fluff sits is solid. And right now, in my opinion, the foundation is not as solid as it needs to be. So adding all this extra stuff is almost meaningless to me, and it would sound like Moonwolf here is also feeling that there is time being wasted on, you know, cosmetics and mechanics that are of no use. So yeah, it's fine for wargaming to develop stuff, but the perception they create is that they focus more on fluff, OP premiums and all this other stuff than actually fixing the core of the game. They are addressing it slowly, but yeah, I get where you're coming from, Moonwolf. I get that. I share that sentiment very, very much. Alright, Tiger. One thing I wanted to see is the return of War Stories. Not only they removed it from the game, but they removed its achievement, an achievement for doing it. Yes, so the achievement was taken out because the War Stories were no longer in there. Will they release War Stories again? I have no idea. But you want War Stories back. You're not the only person that wants War Stories back, so hey, wargaming. People want War Stories back. That's what they want to see. Alright guys, that is everything I've got to go through in this video. I've shared as many of your ideas as I can. A lot of the comments on the video, of the previous video, were people asking for the same thing. You know, we had 5 or 6 people asking for the same thing, so I've just picked one comment that covers that. So thank you all for leaving your feedback. I really appreciate it. I enjoy making videos like this because it's not my ideas. I don't feel like a one-man army trying to push things. I'm giving you guys a voice now, and I really enjoy doing that, and I appreciate you guys dropping your feedback in the comment section. So if you've enjoyed this video, please leave it a like, if not a dislike, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll catch you in the next one.